Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Gamefromscratch, and if there's something we like doing in the Godot community, it is waiting for Godot, specifically Godot 4.4. The thing about Godot is it's always under continuous development. We just had the release of Godot 4.3 back in August, but that is old news now. What we're going to look at today is Godot 4.4, what we can expect from it, what new features are going to be there, and then a little bit beyond Godot 4.4 with the details that we have available. This video has been brought to you by Camtasia in more ways than one. Literally, it is being authored in Camtasia, and Camtasia has sponsored it. Stay tuned to the end to find out details of why I choose and continue to choose to use Camtasia for all of my videos. All right, let's just jump right in. So, Godot 4.4, what can we expect? Well, the good news is you can actually go ahead and check out Godot 4.4 right now. We've actually got the first Dev 1 release was released back in August 26th, and we now have a Dev 2 release. I imagine we're going to have Dev 3 any day now as well. So what are we going to look at as highlight new features coming in 4.4 of Godot? Well, the first one here was supposed to be in 4.3. It got bumped back, and that is Metal backend rendering. Now, Metal is the native rendering API for Mac OS devices. So if you're using an iPad or a Mac, it is Metal. It's kind of the equivalent of Vulkan or OpenGL or Direct3D. And right now, they've been using a compatibility layer called Molten VK, which obviously is going to have some overhead to it. They're going to have a native Metal renderer, so we should get better performance and better support for the hardware for Mac products going forward. Another thing that we are going to be getting is 3D physics interpolation. So you can see it without interpolation and with interpolation. It's just going to smooth out movements between the physics calculations. That's what interpolation is all about. Next up, we have light map by cubic sampling, and you can see the results right away. So gets rid of a lot of the jaggies that are going on. It was supported, so bicubic sampling is especially useful when you bake light maps with shadows at a low texture resolution. Supported this in Godot 3 and now have brought it back. So this was actually a thing that existed in a previous version, and it is coming back. So that is where if you are baking your textures, should be able to get better performance as a result. We also have a new texture compressor coming. This is the Betsy texture compressor. The texture compressor is a tool to compress images into various GPU texture formats. Currently, compressing images for GPU can be quite slow. Betsy is a texture compressor that runs on the GPU and is able to compress images significantly faster than their current compressors. This reduces the import time dramatically. And this, I think, everybody will look forward to, because the speed of opening Godot projects, especially like re-importing assets, texture assets, is frustrating. So we're seeing up to 10 times improvements in the speed that things are imported. I think we will all welcome that particular change. Then we've got a variety of optimizations, things that are internal, things like how arrays and strings work, and so on. And that is what was featured and highlighted in the Dev 1 release of Godot 4.4, which is available for download on all three major platforms. But don't download that one, because there's actually a Dev 4.4 Dev 2. Now this is, again, built on everything we saw earlier on, but on top of that, we were getting some new functionality in 4.4. One of the nicest ones here is typed dictionaries. They got support for typed arrays in Godot 4, but now we have Godot support for dictionary types as well. So you can see here, you're saying a dictionary of type int and string. So you can actually specify the types of values that are going to be sent in. That way you can have a potentially better performance of it, but more importantly, it prevents you from doing things like sticking the wrong data into your dictionaries, which is, again, an invaluable change. If you are using typing, dictionaries are quite commonly used. The other nice thing is it's actually showing in the editor as well. So we're also getting errorless first project importing. So it is commonplace for Godot users using version control to exclude the .godot folder from their repositories, as it contains files which can be recreated by Godot the first time you edit the project. One drawback of this system is the first launch of the editor without a .godot folder is typically quite noisy, with hundreds of errors spamming about missing resources and various scripts failing to compile due to class names not being known yet, add-ons not being registered yet, or yet unknown GD extension classes. This also gives us sometimes you have to load a project, reload it, and come back in to make things work. This should fix that to a degree. So Hilderin valiantly fought their way through this labyrinth of dependencies and multi-threading pitfalls and brought us back to the long-awaited grail, errorless first import of projects, which should work without requiring an editor restart. So that is lovely. Took a lot of effort, and various things were changed. Moreover, there's newfound knowledge over the depths of editor file system Hilderin also further improved that first project import experience to make the file system dock more responsive while resources are being scanned. So if you have or you delete your .godot files, it's not going to be as obnoxious, and you're not going to have to restart the editor after the fact. Window editor state is also now persisted, so keeps track of the editor window state, full screen, windowed mode, size, position, and so on. And then when you start it back up, they will restore to the same spot. So if you're using big monitors or multi-monitors, you're going to like this new features. And we've got some new improvements to the visual shader coming in 4.4 as well. A new material preview side dock, which is, again, quite a nice improvement. Drag and drop of mesh to create mesh emitter in the visual shaders. And then we also got initial Android editor support for XR devices. This actually is a little bit beyond that. I don't know how useful this is, but it is... it's actually available now. Now, this is available in a very early stage. So this is a preview release, I believe they are calling it. But basically, you can now run the Godot editor inside of a MetaQuest device, MetaQuest 3 device. I don't think I would ever want to do this, but some people find these working in VR or XR a lot more comfortable than I do. So it is kind of neat. And if you're testing XR games, it'd be nice to have the editor and then the games you're running right there. You got a lot of control over how it is set up. So if you could stomach the idea of actually doing your development inside of XR, the functionality is now available. Now, again, this is a fairly early preview, so this is only the beginning right now. But they do have it. So the Godot editor on Meta Horizon Store is now there. A very early version of this, but if you want to go ahead and check out running the Godot editor on MetaQuest devices, you can. And by the way, if you did not know this already, you can actually run the Godot editor both on the web as well as on the Android App Store. So we're now in another location. Soon we're going to be able to run Godot on our toaster. Seems to be one of those things that comes with open source projects and running them on all kinds of devices out there. So let me know if you're actually interested in the idea of running the editor inside of a VR program. And then the other thing we've got here is rendering priorities. So there are a number of things they are working on with the rendering team. A lot of them they did with 4.3, and they updated the particular status there. So Direct3D 12 renderer was just added, and so on. They're also coming into this compositor hooks, which give you the ability to actually hook into the rendering pipeline to do your own calculations within. As we mentioned earlier on, metal rendering was pushed back to 4.4. I also did a video on this like about a year ago. Juan is working on this new implementation of the SDF-GI, which is Signed Distance Field Global Illumination, now called HDD-AGI, which I forget what HDD actually stands for, but it's something that he's working on, a new global illumination system that is ongoing. And then the priorities that they're working on, performance improvements, light mapping improvements, improvements to the VFX workflow. This is going to build on those hooks that they also just added earlier on, as well as customizables to the rendering, and significantly improved screen space effects, things like ambient occlusion, SSIL. I forget exactly what that one stands for, but that one is the one that does the darker shadows and blacks on your screen. Screen space reflections and screen space shadows. Too many damn acronyms. So definitely some improvements there as well. So we got this document on the rendering priorities that they are working on. This was just published earlier on this week as well. So if you are waiting for Godot 4.4, well, at least now you understand exactly what it is you are waiting for. And now back to the sponsor of this video. Again, that is Camtasia from TechSmith. I have used Camtasia since I started this channel. Why? Well, put it into two simple words. I find it very easy to work with, and I find it very fast. I can make and edit my videos in a record amount of time. People are actually wondering, like, how can you respond to this so fast when news breaks and so on? Well, a lot of the reasons is Camtasia, and it just makes my workflow so simple. Cool thing is, you can check it all out for yourself. Ignore my word, check it out yourself. Full functioning version of it available with just a simple watermark. And if you want to go ahead and buy it, use the code Gamefromscratch at checkout for a 15% discount. So thank you for sponsoring this, Camtasia, and you guys let me know what you think of Godot 4.4. Are you waiting for it, or are you happy with Godot 4.3 and all of the things that we currently have? Or is there more you want to see and you're not seeing addressed yet? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.